gets out here, and of course Neil Warnock, my agent with the agency group, and Danny Nozell, who worked so hard to make sure that we put all of this together, and it took about a year to do, and now we're here. And anyway, I just wanted to let you know I'm so excited about performing to all the fans, because I understand we have some really good shows. The ticket sales, I mean, and it's up to me to see if we have a good show, and I'm going to do my best. We worked in Perth, night before last, and that was our very first show, and we're going to be here for a whole month, so looking forward to it. And if any of you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them. Oh, I was going to tell you I have a new movie coming out. I don't know when it'll be here, but it's called Joyful Noise, one of Brothers Pictures with Queen Latifah. Gospel flavored musical, and it's not a musical, we call it music driven, but it's got a lot of good music in it. And of course Dollywood's up and going really good, and in our 26th year, going actually in our 27th year this year. So I've been a busy girl. I was tall when I started in show business, and this kind of beat me down a little bit. But anyhow, thank you for being nice, and well, maybe you'll be nice, maybe you won't, but I'll answer you anyhow. So, who wants to go first?
Hi, Dolly. Kathy McKay from the Daily Telegraph here in Sydney. Welcome back to Australia after 24 years. It's been such a long time, and you've reconnected with your Australian fans already in Perth. Which one of the gazillion songs that you have written would you like to dedicate to your Australian fans on this tour?
Well, actually, my very favorite song has always been, of all the thousands of songs I've written, is The Coat of Many Colors. And everybody seems to respond to that little song. It's very personal to me, of course, because it's a true story from my childhood. And people relate to it for different reasons. It's a song about people making fun of you, and some of us have been made fun of in our lives, and that's not a very good feeling. But it's a precious little song. It's really about love, family values, and so I would have to say that would be the one that we like. They love Jolene, they love all sorts of songs, so all of the songs are going to be for the fans, and hopefully I'll get to cover all their favorite songs along with a lot of the new songs from the Better Day album that we have out. And by the way, Kenny Rogers said to say hello to everybody. When I was here before, I was here with Kenny for 5 weeks. That's when I was in the Stream was such a big hit. So he was sorry he didn't get to come with me this time, but he's got little twin boys, and he's got his hands full with all sorts of, with a new wife and new babies at his age.
Dolly?
Yes.
Angela Bishop from Channel 10.
Hi there.
Nice to meet you. If I could start with a bit of a cheeky question. Has a man, on ever being introduced to you for the first time, ever looked you in the eye?
Not many times. But I don't do anything to cover them up, so I can't blame the man.
I love it. And I'm going to segue from that to quite a serious question, but the enormous work you've done for literacy and reading for children, I've been a huge fan of that. I've been following it for a long time. Why is that such a passion of yours?
Well, actually, what you're speaking of is the Imagination Library, which is a literacy program that I started about 14 years ago, and it's all over the United States and in Canada and in England, and hopefully we're going to be bringing it to Australia as well. It's where we give books to children from the time they're born. They get a book once a month until they start school. That way they can learn to love books, and they can learn to read, and parents and family and people kind of sit with them, and they just and the books come in the mail in their own little name, so that it's very special to them. So far, so that's what I do. Wear wigs most of the time, although I keep my own hair the same color, the same length. But I usually have different wigs. But I can, if need be, because I'm so used to doing my makeup. I do my own makeup, unless I'm doing a movie or a photo shoot where they want someone to do it. But I can, if I have to, if somebody calls and said, you have to be here, I can be out of the house in 30 minutes, but I like a good hour, to get ready like everybody else. And then on show days, since I'm usually just in my bus, that the transportation minister allowed me to have, I just spend all afternoon in my bus, and I just kind of take it easy and, take the bath, and then Then maybe I'll put on a little makeup. A little later I'll decide what I'm going to wear. So it just depends. So to answer the first part of your question, 30 minutes.
And secondly, obviously you've had a very high profile, very public career for such a long time. Yeah, we don't really know a great deal about the private world of Dolly Parton. Has that been a concerted effort for you to maintain a level of privacy as well as being a celebrity? Especially in an era where we have people like Kim Kardashian, where we know every minute detail of their life.
Well, I've always been pretty open with the public, but my life is very personal. People think they know everything about me, but they don't. But anything that I feel that is anybody's business, I'm happy to tell it. But of course I don't tell just everything, and a lot of that has to do with my husband of 45 years. He does not like to be in the public eye, and he would never in a blue billion years do an interview. And of course when I'm home, I love being home. I like being private, and I think you need to have, or at least for me, I think you need to have a little bit of privacy to restore and to be a real human being. I don't want to just be out there all the time, but when I'm out, if I'm going to go outside, even out to the grocery store or whatever, or just shopping, I put on all the garb because I want people to know it's me. I don't try to hide. I don't want them to see me looking awful and say, "Did you see Dolly Parton? God, she was my hair." I would have thought she'd have cleaned up, so I don't want that to be done. So anyway, I always go out looking the way I look if I'm going out. Okay.
Dolly, Damien Smith from the 7 Network.
There you go.
A sad
These
subject.
lights are bright, that's why I can't hardly see.
Oh, a sad subject. On the occasion of Michael Jackson's death, you shared with us your feelings in that video. I'm just wondering what emotions were stirred up in you when you heard that someone, his doctor, had been found criminally responsible for his death.
Well, I was just sorry that Michael died. He was a precious little thing. He was just like a little angel, and he was so talented. And I just feel bad for everybody that's caught up in all of that. That's one of the reasons, too, the question that you asked. Sometimes I think you need to try to have a little more privacy and not have so many people around you all the time to where you don't even really know your own self or know what all is going on. But I won't make any comment on other things about that other than just to say we're all sorry that Michael's gone. He's a wonderful entertainer. And he'll always be remembered. He was so sweet, and I'm happy that I had a chance to get to know him. Oh, I knew that from fun. I guess I want to know that she did start out in rap music. I do a little thing on stage, and I do it different every night, but I usually do like, with all the rap beats, they start that. I do all my silly little notions like Queen Latifah, she the queen of hip-hop, rap and mood screen. Yeah, she the queen of her own hood, but I'm the queen of Dollywood. Anyway, I go on and on with a bunch of foolishness. I said, she may be the queen, but I'm the white dance princess. Anybody else?
Hi, Dolly.
My husband and I get along great. We're really good friends. We never had children. My parents had 12 children, as you're talking about when I say that people ask if we're Catholic because we had so many kids, and I always say no, we're just horny hillbillies. But my husband's not from the country, but he's horny.
The other part of the question was, you speak a lot about how important your faith is to you. Can you tell me what your favourite Bible passage is and why?
Well, I have many, but one of the things that stands out and has really stood by me and stood with me and I call on every day is that I truly do believe that through God all things are possible. And I think we have to exercise our faith, and we have to know that we have to go through lots of things, but that we got to keep our eye on the prize.
Dolly, evolution.
Well, I believe in God, and I don't know how everything happened. I just know it did, and I would choose to believe in God if I knew for a fact there was no God, because I like to believe in something bigger than us, and we certainly need it. I think God created it, and I'm just glad to be part of it.
And another question, you made a really interesting comment last time you were here with Kenny Rogers. You said about the Australian audiences compared to American audiences. We were more tentative and quiet. We didn't get into it so much. Based on your Perth concert, did you notice any change in the 27 years?
Well, actually, I think when I had said that they were fantastic in Perth, by the way, and they were great with Kenya now all the time. I think what I was talking about with that, they love the music, but I have such a southern accent, and you kind of have an accent too here. And I think a lot of it has to do, with the communication. I try to talk a little bit slower so I can be understood. But the crowds are fantastic. We love the fans. So I don't.
A different generation of star and bring
Well,
up.
I never say never. I mean, there's always wonderful opportunities and great possibilities. I'm usually so busy with so many of my other things, and I love to write, by myself, and I usually like to do a lot of different things. But I wouldn't be opposed to doing a wonderful record with somebody if it really struck my fancy. Nobody's asked me, so it depends on who it was, I guess. But yeah, I'm open to everything. Never say never, as they say. Even if yes, that is true, and I love to tell the story, but that's the whole story, though. It was Halloween, and I was in LA. I lived in a little apartment right up the street from Santa Monica, which is a very big gay area, and a lot of clubs and stuff there. And so a lot of the guys, the drag queens, used to dress up like me, and it was back when, you mentioned Cher, back when we were both pretty hot, so there was all sorts of Dollys walking around the street, all sorts of Chers and different people. So since I was up the street and had a bunch of friends with me, I said, let's I'm just going to over-exaggerate, make my hair bigger, I'll make my beauty mark bigger, make my lips a little bigger, just kind of over-exaggerate everything, and I'm going to go down and get in the contest, because it was just one of those things where they just wasn't like this. It was a little club that walked across the stage and then people would applaud to see. But of course, all those drag queens are 6 feet tall anyway, plus high heel shoes, and here comes the pygmy walking across. And I got the least applause of anybody, but we did it just for fun. So I didn't win the Dolly Lookalike contest because they didn't think it was me. They just thought I was some little short, ugly boy.
Dolly,
I didn't even think about that, but you never know, because it's same thing with I Will Always Love You. They play, that's a huge karaoke song as well, the Whitney Houston version of it, of course, but still, it's my song. But I didn't think about that, but they always are finding songs in the albums to either make a dance mix out of, which they're always doing that, or doing karaoke. But I'm always open to it. I always let them use them. I think it's fun for people to get drunk and sing to my songs.
I also, look, I used to have a friend.
Well, actually, I wrote that song in 1972. And I worked with a man named Porter Wagner for many, many years. And we fought a lot because I wanted to go out on my own, and I was working on his show. He had the #1 syndicated show. And I had told him that I would stay for 5 years, but I wanted to have my own band, have my own career, but it was too good of an opportunity not to take at the time. So the 5 years went, and we were getting more popular, doing duets. I wanted to go, and Porter was giving me a fit about that. So we had a lot of fights about it, and he just was one of those people who was so bullheaded, he just wouldn't listen to me. So I just went home, wrote the song, took it back to the office, and sang the song, and he was crying, and he said, okay, you go, provide, and I can produce that record on it, which he did. And then, of course, Whitney, of course, had a big record. Elvis wanted to record it, had it all planned to do, and I was so excited about that. He loved the song. And Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, who was a great manager, by the way, but he waited till the last minute to tell me, after I had been invited to the session in Nashville, going down to hear Elvis sing my song, and Colonel Tom calls me and says, well, you do know that we don't record anything with Elvis unless we get half the budget. And I'd already had a #1 record of my own, and had a few other people that had recorded it. So I just had to make a decision that broke my heart. I said, well, you can't have it. And so Elvis didn't do it. It had nothing to do with Elvis. I'm sure he was sick as I was about it, but I've thought so many times through the years how wonderful it would be if Elvis had a chance to sing the song. But every year, it's